Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you very much for joining me on the channel today. Once again, it's great to be coming back at you with a brand new video. Now today we have a new release which did drop last night, was submitted to me from Roxana Line. Now it's an artist I haven't heard of before, and after doing a little bit of research, I really do think this is going to bring something very different to the channel to what we are previously used to. So I'll give you a little bit of information. Now the track we're going to be featuring today is called Marry Me. Now this particular track is a tragic story about a character which has been created called Mara Lazarus. Now it's a story full of witch hunting, forced marriages and a travelling circus that never seems to leave a place called GRIMTOWN, which the artist has created. Now there's a much bigger sort of picture surrounded by this. Now the artist does write and produce all her own songs, she does compose all the scores, and she does also write and release short horror stories which all take place within the same universe, or Gloomiverse as she does refer to it. Now this magical world is created, it's been driven purely by music. So as I can see, it says to imagine Sweeney Todd, but also make that emo rock. And all of the previous tracks are connected. So if you go back, you will find Easter eggs which do create the much bigger picture within the Gloomiverse, as she calls it. It's really cool. There is a video where she explains all of this. It's about 4 minutes long, really interesting. So I'll drop a link down below. So definitely go and check that out. But of course, if you do dig the music that Roxana Line puts out, please do be sure to follow her on all the socials. As always, big up to all the guys that support over on Patreon. Let's jump on board and support. Please head over to patreon.com/FYM Productions Media. Right, this is going to be an interesting one. I don't know exactly what's going to come from this. I do think there's going to be a bit of a spooky vibe, which I do always dig. But let's jump in. This is Roxana Line with Marry Me. Here we go. Great voice. Definitely one for the elder emos. Here we go, looks like we're getting to the creepy shit. That's the stuff that I like. There it is. Digging the guitars on this. This is cool. Do like the vocals as well. Alright, so that was Roxana Line with Marry Me. Very, very different to the sort of stuff that I normally listen to. I can certainly hear some of the more sort of like emo, theatrical sort of influences in there. Certainly things like if you go back to like some of the older like My Chemical Romance tracks, I'd say that's certainly got some influence in this. In terms of the production as a whole, I think this was very, very well produced. The songwriting and the composition as a whole was very, very good. I did really dig the vocals and the slightly heavier guitars when it does kick up ever so slightly. Things don't always have to be heavy for me to be really, really into it. Now, I'm not 100% into this particular type of genre, but it's always interesting to go in and check something like this out. I did find the particular sort of like backstory along why she creates the music that she does, and you know what the whole Gloomiverse, as she calls it. And I do think that's a really interesting concept. It's not something I personally come across from a lot of artists, and it makes it really interesting to sort of have that extra depth. Is it something I'd listen to myself? Probably not, to be perfectly honest with you. But with that being said, I still think this is a really, really good release for the particular genre that it is. I think this is going to massively appeal to people that are into like My Chemical Romance, Panic at the Disco. Maybe if you go back to some of the older sort of Falling in Reverse, which again isn't massively my cup of tea, but I can't really fault it in terms of any of the production, any of the composition, with the songwriting. I think it's all been done really well. It's just not something I'd particularly listen to. But I'd certainly be interested to have a look at some of the other releases that Roxana Line has done, because I think this is a really, really cool concept. So I really do applaud this artist for sort of going that little bit extra within this, because it's not something you do always get, and you have to stand out, and this really, really does stand out in what is now a really overly saturated market of so many bands, so many musicians and artists. So it's really cool to see something a little bit different. But I do appreciate Roxana Line for submitting through. So thank you very, very much for that. Really, really do appreciate it. But guys, if you did dig it, please be sure to follow her on all her socials. I'll make sure it's all dropped down below. Do let me know what you think of this in the comments. But as always, I'll be back in the next one. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.